Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Juan's World, and this past Sunday was the second Sunday in Advent, so we're moving towards Christmas, and this year the fourth Sunday in Advent is also Christmas Eve, so we're moving pretty fast. So we've got 2 more Sundays then Christmas, and I want to talk about Christmas in other countries at some point, but this year I'm just going to talk about what it means to have Christmas in Cambodia. So let's get started with that. So I left New York and the United States 12 years ago, and from there I went to Argentina. And Christmas in Argentina is interesting, which I'll talk about at some other time. It's in the southern hemisphere, so it's in the summer. The summer solstice just passes and then you get Christmas. So it's the absolute opposite of Christmas in the northern hemisphere. And I'm sort of used to that because I grew up in Australia, and we had hot weather at Christmas time. It was the long holiday, the summer holiday, beginning with Christmas. Same as in Argentina. My mother always cooked a very standard English Christmas dinner. And I replicated that 6 years ago when my son came to visit me with his wife and his wife's mother, and we celebrated slightly early Christmas. And the dinner that I made was roast chicken, which is what my mother used to make in Australia, because the main meat for Sundays was lamb, because lamb was really, really plentiful. Some people used to call it 365, because you had it every day of the year. Well, for special occasions, we had a special meat, and chickens were hard to come by. So we would have a chicken on Christmas and on birthdays. Chicken with sage and onion stuffing, usually another meat, like sausages, what we used to call chipoladas, like very small sausages. Roast potatoes, an absolute necessity. Maybe bread sauce, which is just bread boiled in milk with an onion and then mashed all together. Some kind of vegetable, and Christmas pudding. And I've talked about all of those things before, although I'll show you here the sort of remains of the dinner that I cooked for my son and his family. That was changed when I went to England and discovered what it was like to have Christmas in the winter. When you really did want to have a big meal. You did want to put on some fat. Not like in Australia where you could barely get through the Christmas dinner. But I became very Anglified, I guess you'd say. And so when I moved to the United States and I was married and had a son, I enjoyed cooking a goose on Christmas Day, even though goose is very hard to come by and it's very expensive. But, Bob Cratchit and his family had a goose on Christmas, so I made a goose with sage and onion stuffing. Usually made red cabbage with apples or something like that to go with it, and Christmas pudding, mince pies, sausage rolls, cockaliki soup, like all the things that I was used to in England. Well, when I moved away, certainly when I moved away to Argentina, then everything was different. Christmas dinner was on Christmas Eve night, and it was usually pork. If you were very well-to-do, you would have a whole sucking pig that is roasted on the parrilla, over a wood fire for hours and hours and hours and hours, and then chilled. So the evening meal would be chilled pork, salad, and ice cream. Well, now I live in the tropics. Now I've lived in a lot of different places and had Christmas in different places. When I lived in Italy, in northern Italy, close to the Alps, it was cold enough and Christmassy enough to do the usual Christmassy kinds of things that I like to do. But the Italians had their own thing that they like to do. In Mantua, they always on Christmas Eve had tortelle di zucca. That is a special kind of stuffed pasta with pumpkin, and so on. And they have great lights everywhere in the town, and every year is different. It was remarkable to me. Around the beginning of December, out would come all of the construction vehicles, and they'd put up these giant stars and great areas bathed in lights and so forth, and very carefully calculated in design each year. So here in Cambodia, about the beginning of December, you do start seeing some Christmas decorations going up, but with a difference. See, the thing is that it's not a Christian country, and Christmas is not a holiday. It's a Monday this year. They may make it into some kind of holiday, but the vast majority of people don't celebrate Christmas. They don't have any interest in it. There are Christians that live here, and I know a few of them because I used to teach at a Christian college. But the vast majority of people are not interested. But the hotels, and I'm talking about dinky little hotels or bed and breakfast places. I'm talking about giant hotels, like there's one called Naga World, which is right down by the river in the center of town. They have big displays for Christmas because they've got a lot of foreigners there. And of course, some of the foreigners are Chinese and they don't care about Christmas either. But there's enough Australians and people from the United States and Europeans, that they want to feel in the mood. And also in my area, where I live now, there's a great number of places that sell foreign cars, Mazda and BMW and Tesla and so forth, and they all like to put on displays and maybe put up a Christmas tree. And a little I go to a tea shop periodically to meet with my students concerning my research, and they've got a Christmas tree, not tiny, a small one by the door. Nothing much else, and nobody particularly cares. At the supermarket where I go, they have transfers on one of the windows of Christmas trees, and the cashiers all wear elf hats and say "Merry Christmas" along the band in the top. And just the other night, I walked down to a big hospital that's not far from me, but they have a very big display. It's very very colourful, and it's sort of a golden Christmas tree, I guess you'd think, plus some reindeer and some sparkly balls, and then some palm trees with lights wrapped around them, which is not particularly Christmassy. It's just something they do here at this time of year, and or maybe all of the year sometimes. I mean, where I live, there's one coconut palm that they light up at night for no good reason. And in various streets in the center, there will be trees that will have different light displays on them for various reasons, not particularly Christmassy. And this year, I haven't seen a lot of Christmas decorations in places where I normally see them. There's a business center called Atwood near where I live that used to have a big KFC in it, and every year they had a display of Santa and a Merry Christmas sign and so forth. They've gone out of business, so no Santa and no Merry Christmas. And all along the verge in that general area, in previous years they used to have lighted reindeer and lighted balls and candy canes and so forth. Don't have anything this year. I said, I don't know what's going on, but I don't know why this year is sparser than past years. But what I end up doing is having Christmas alone. I've had Christmas alone for about 10 years now. And so I do the things that I've always done. I make mince pies, I make sausage rolls. You've seen my sausage rolls, you've seen my mince pie, including the mince pie with meat. But what I have to do these days is I have to spread it out over the whole Advent season. I've made some mince pies, I've made some sausage rolls. I won't make them again on Christmas Day because I just don't have the appetite. I don't have the ability. I'll make a roast of some sort because that's the feeling of Christmas for me is roast meat. If I could get a nice piece of beef, I would make roast beef and Yorkshire pudding. But I don't know. I mean, if I could find a goose, I'd roast it immediately. I do sometimes roast a duck as a kind of a substitute, but the domestic ducks are pretty. They're tough, so they don't make a very festive dinner. But I have seen in a market I went to the other day some duck breasts that are really fat and look good. So I might do that. Don't know. So anyway, that's Christmas in Cambodia. It's strange, but I've been by myself for a long time, and my sisters send me presents. I send them presents. I get an occasional card, most of the time by email. So, it just feels like it's festive enough for me. I don't need the kind of thing that I needed when I was 10 years old, or when I had a son who was 10 years old. I don't have to do any of that anymore. So that's Christmas in Cambodia. So if you like my videos, please tell your friends, please like, please subscribe, and I'll see you on Friday.